This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Santa Monica Playhouse for their presentation of Jack and Jill. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Tana Frederick. Yeah, I've done a lot of theater and plays with and movies with the great Henry Jaglom, and films with other films besides that.
And which character did you play?
Jill in Jack and Jill, in the play Jack and Jill, which is written by Jane Martin. But it's speculated that it was written by John Jory, who did Keely and Do, and written by he and his wife. And it's a two-hander. It's a tough show. It really needs to have the comedy mind out of it in order for people to sit through it, because it's very real. I mean, we have a lot of people from 17 to 97 watching it and understanding the situations of the characters and seeing, okay, I was there once, I did that, and that's the fun part about it, is getting having it almost be like a Baptist church congregation with the audience, and having a two-person show is just having the talk back, because that's what you want. You want the excitement of the audience saying, oh yeah, no, you're wrong, and people vocalize during this show, which is really fun, especially when we have a full house, which we usually do, and that's really fun to have that sort of playback with them, the Shakespearean throw stuff at me on stage, I don't care, this is what theater is supposed to be. That's what all of us, I think that's at least what me as an actor, what I would hope for.
I really love this piece. I really did.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's delicious. I think it's I did this show when actually this is my second time revisiting it. I got cast in it when I was 20. It was my first professional gig, and don't ask me how I did it, because I was in college at the time, and cast over age appropriate women and acting in it with a man who was 38, 39, and so I wondered when I got. Just in this last year, I was like, well, what if I need to revisit that piece, because with my life knowledge and life experience now, how is this going to sit differently with me? And I have that curiosity of, what if I did that over? And so I revisited it with Jack Keller, who directed it and did an amazing job, and with Robert Stanley, and removed the dressers. Originally, there were supposed to be 2 dressers for each character, which was very superfluous. And you kind of wonder, okay, it's a kind of extra padding. It doesn't make it quite as raw, because you have extra people on stage, and they don't say anything, they just change you throughout, and instead we've all figured out together, okay, how do we get through all the 18 costume changes that we need to get through? How do we bring all the props on ourselves? How do we take them all off ourselves? How do we score this the way it should be scored? We didn't follow the original score, but it turned out amazing. And then using the back of the scenario, it was kind of going in and out tonight. But usually, I love that landscape in the back of just of California and New York, the slideshow in the back. It shows what small, tiny theater can do if you use your imagination and use the functionality of an 82-seat theater.
I actually thought that was intentional, because he was like a video guy. I thought that was him. He was the guy who did that.
Oh my God, that's a great take. Now we're going to have to keep that in the show. Now we have to keep that in the show. That's awesome.
You just make his name. Just change his name to that.
I love that. That's genius. I love that. Yeah. I love that. Where we see a mistake, there's always a creative, something creative that comes out of it. Wonderfully creative. That's brilliant. No, so yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen, but now I'm going to think about it after that. I'm really happy you liked it. It's a great night, and we've been extended, and again, you just think, okay, this must really relate to. People relate to this, and it's fun to do. It's fun, and it's painful, and it's cathartic, and it's everything I think that you could want in a piece, because there are your sad moments or your real moments, there are funny moments, which are sad moments, and the irony of certain lines that everybody says in every relationship, and the mistakes that everybody says, and then nonetheless there's the forgiveness that goes on in relationships, and the hopefulness, and then there's the darkness, and then it's just a roller coaster ride for people. So we've really had a great time doing it.
When I was looking at this thing, I thought back to when I had a conversation to a young woman, and we were just talking a little bit about marriage, and I'm married and all that, and basically we were talking about the subject of marriage, and I said, do you know that marriage is about compromise? And she said, I always thought marriage is about love. And I said, love is about sacrifice. She had no idea what I was talking about.
I love that this piece brings that to the table in spades. I mean, because that's what we're constantly saying is we need to talk about this, we need to work through it. My mom always taught me, that's fascinating, because I think that's, and Robert's agreed with me in a lot of situations, especially with the younger generation now, it is people still have that fairy book sort of illusion of love, when my mom always taught me since I was little that marriage is a job.
9 to 5-er.
A 9 to 5 job that you have to work at every single day. And it's never going to be completely happy. It's never going to be completely traumatizing. It's always going to be just a job. And if you are willing to go through it and go through all the ups and downs and learn from your mistakes and insist on the talking through of things, then you can get through it. But I mean, Jack and Jill is well, what happened to the prince and Cinderella after they got together? She broke some dishes in the kitchen, and he and she walked out on him. So I mean, it's never a fairy tale ending in life. It's always just that need to want to stay together and create history together. That's very true to life, is that so many people have that attitude. I think a lot of the people who come to the show, the younger people are I'm never getting married. We've had some boys leave, some younger teens leave, and the guys are I'm never getting married after that. But
Well, that said, though, the accessibility of this material is what attracted me to it in the first place. I've had 92-year-old Israeli women. I've had 20-year-old, Valley girls and guys. And this appeals to everybody. And things like, I remember those days all too well. I wish I would have known these lessons back then. Or the young girls going, oh, my God, that opened my eyes about... They say compromise until you actually see it in front of you. And this play to me, it's like the... she and I are like the walking wounded of the dating sex wars, you know what I mean? And so we're both wounded, and we want love again so badly, but we're so wounded that we each have our separate little defense mechanisms that get in the way, And when I read this, I said to Tana, you are brave to want to do this, because it shines a floodlight without any political correctness or anything that clouds stuff today. It really tells what can go wrong, what does go wrong. It's universal. We all do it, and how to work around it. But I love this material. I love working with Tana. We never have a bad show. It's
never a bad show. It's just like a big boxing match.
Exactly. Funny thing is, I won't get into this, but I was married to a lady named Jill, and I had a painful divorce with her. So in rehearsals, I would be sitting here saying Jill, blah, blah, blah. Some of the same stuff I said in our arguments and fights when we were divorcing. And poor Tana would look at me like, oh my God, I feel like you're attacking me. I had to work through it. It was like therapy. It was fun though. But anyway.
Yeah, I was like, TKO, Robert, okay? I'm not the one you divorced. TKO, I'm
My
down.
name is Tana, Robert. Remember this.
But it's true. I mean, the universality of it, and I'm sure some of the lines I would hope that, or not hope, but I would hope that, still would hope that you could relate to, that you've said in your marriage, and maybe...
How many years have you been married?
I've actually been married for 9 years, and actually when I look at marriage, I look at it this way. When you're married, that is the only one person you'll meet in your entire life who really hates you for who you really are. And who you really are.
That was profound. I got to mull that one over for a second.
No, it's just like the line in the play where you say, you are an implacable heart, and I say, that was very good. But it's the whole notion of getting each other and getting somebody who says, I hate you for who you are, but I'm staying with you. It's the beauty of, I think that's the beauty of love. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, my character, the thing is, he loves her so much that he's willing to crawl through the glass, of the downside of this stuff. He loves her so much. Because some people say, man, no one with self-respect would put up with what she's given you at times. But this guy is so in love, and that covers it all. I've actually learned a lot from this piece. Really have.
I think, too, the brilliance of the writing and sort of switching these notions of Jill being the workaholic, Jill being the traditional, holding the traditional male values in a lot of her monologues and a lot of her thoughts and stances, versus Jack being more of the feminine, if you want to call it that. I think that allows for the audience to also get even more involved, because I find a lot of men can feel free to laugh along with some of my monologues, like, I'm medically empowered, I have stocks, I have bonds, I have a car that can turn heads. Men feel freer to laugh with my character because I'm a woman, it's played by a woman, and women feel freer to laugh with a lot of his things
and
about.
Empathize. You're right.
And empathize.
It throws you off because it shakes it up. So you hear a woman saying stuff that you've said and felt yourself, and you go, holy crap, and you see it with a whole different eyes, as opposed to, oh, that woman, typical women. You know what I mean? It kind of.
So it makes it safe for the audience, for both sexes, to participate in both viewpoints, and I think that's what makes it accessible as well.
Yeah, I don't think we've met your co-star. What was your name again?
Robert Stanley. Theater-wise, I did a national tour of Rainmaker, playing Starbuck for like 2 years. Very successful. I actually, ironically enough, Henry Jaglom and Tana Frederick, my co-star, hired me to play Starbuck, and we ran for a very successful year out here in L.A. It was one of my highlights. I've done, I was on All My Children for about 2 years. I played a bad boy hunk, and I'd get mixed letters over that. I did a stint on a series called Invasion that Sean Cassidy wrote and produced. I was this cocky fighter pilot who fought the aliens. I've done more theater than I can even count, all over the nation, internationally. That's it in a nutshell,
Well, except right now, we have a movie coming out by Henry Jaglom called Ovation, and it's based on Henry's conceit that to film everything that goes on behind the scenes of a play, and so backstage, and so we took our entire cast from Rainmaker, which was a beautiful cast, critically acclaimed. We ran for a year, so we were all very tight and really close, and he wrote a script for the cast backstage, and then you never see what's going on in this show. You never quite see what's going on stage. You only hear the cue lines, and then you only see what's going on backstage, which of course is more dramatic for the most part than what's going on stage. And so that's actually going to be at the Palm Beach Film Festival this week. And is playing the festival circuit, and then it's opening up at the Arrow and in Laemmle theaters across the country.
The beauty of this is we had bonded so closely as a cast for Rainmaker, but you never see us really on stage per se. It's always right when we come off stage where as Henry said, when he wrote this, directed it, was lovely stuff. It's the exciting thing is the actors dealing with all the drama and the soap opera stuff backstage. It's really very funny, very touching. Tana stars in it. She's astounding, opposite of James Denton from
Desperate Housewives.
Yes. Quite the chemistry.
Your bio said that you got your inspiration from Charlton Heston.
I did.
Most people usually look at Will Smith, or they look at someone like, the modern days. You look at an old-fashioned guy.
I will say it right out. It was the spectacle. I was watching the Ten Commandments as a kid. I was 5, and I'm the youngest of 10. We're all sitting around this television set, and he starts parting the Red Sea. And it's just this miraculous stuff, and I was transported, and I said to myself, I don't know what this is, but I want to be part of this, which stimulated my interest at school, and I started getting cast in leads, and one thing led to another. So Charlton Heston, I give credit for igniting it, but Marlon Brando, if there's any hero I have, I've dissected every moment that man's ever had on cinema. He's truly my inspiration, if that's what you're asking.
Right. One last question, again, about marriage. Mm-hmm. I'm told that every marriage is like one argument away from a divorce. Is that true? From your experience, is that true?
Oh, you're going to make me go there, huh? Great. Wow. Okay, that's where compromise and a sense of humor comes in that everybody says, and being able to communicate. There's a point to all of that, because you've got to be able to. She talked about that moment in the play. When I look at her and I go, you are an implacable heart. That right there could be the start of a woman going, excuse me, you bop, 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 and then we go back and forth, and who knows where that leads. Her character goes, well, that was very, very good. She knows how to deflect it which was a great skill that this character had, where we could survive it. So I guess the real question is, how willing are you to be able to deflect and eat it a little bit and get over your ego and try to work through it? You know, if I knew when I was married what I know now between this play and just the years that have passed after the divorce, I would do so many things differently. I wouldn't stand up no matter what. You're wrong and this is it. I know for a fact I'm right. I'd give that a break. You know, that's what you're asking.
That's interesting. I would say the same. I mean, it's kind of, this is what I love about the play too. The maybe at the end is I would say every argument is one step away, not from divorce, but from understanding and cooperation. And that comes from me, from my parents who've been married 49 years. And you can, I mean, it's so easy. That's why I love this piece. You can look at it like, huge mistake between these two. This whole play was just one huge mistake, or this whole play was one big learning process for this couple, and just as other relationships are. I mean, I would ask you the same thing. Like, what do you say about that after being married 9 years?
9 years.
I would say basically, again, it's the same thing. You're one argument away from a divorce. It's like you're facing like this hill, this battle that no one could possibly face. It either breaks you or it makes you. So basically, they're still together. How could you still be together after you've thrown things at each other, after you yelled, after you hit each other? How could you possibly still be together? I have no idea. I guess our marriage could survive anything.
I love that you even said hill in it. Like, you go up the hill together, and you're like, how do you survive this
devil you know is better
hill?
than devil you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, that's a great analogy. Yeah.
Once again, I really love the play. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for coming and seeing it.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you very much.
And thank you to your wife for being married to you for 9 years.
Yeah, actually, that was a bit of a burden for her.
No, I'm sure she's amazing, and you're amazing too. So
Thank you for coming out today.
Yeah.
Sure. Very nice of you.
Jack and Jill will be playing at the Santa Monica Playhouse from February 5th to April 24th. For more information, go to www.santamonicaplayhouse.com.